Yeah, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please be seated. I'm honored to welcome you for the first time as president to a Thanksgiving tradition here at the White House. It reminds us to have a little bit of fun and to always be grateful. You know, as a University of Delaware man, I'm partial to blue hens. But today we're going to talk turkey. To the families of my staff, thank you for joining us, for being part of our team. And thank you, Pete Sager, chairman of the National Turkey Federation, for continuing the tradition of presenting a turkey to the president that goes back to President Truman. Yes, yes. And pardoning the turkey goes back to George H.W. Bush. I just met your wonderful family, your wife Krista, who volunteers to get kids vaccinated back home in Jasper. Thank you very much for doing that. And your incredible children, 12-year-old Addie and 10-year-old Ellie and 9-year-old Jack. And Addie and Ellie, I tell you, if your parents will understand, the reason I ran for president is so my grandchildren your age could have Secret Service protection, because you're lovely young women and you're young men. Look, and special thanks to the students at Ellie and Jack's school in Jasper who submitted the names of these two fine turkeys. The two names I couldn't agree on more. Who better help celebrate the holiday in which we break the bread for two turkeys named Peanut Butter and Jelly. I have to admit to you, my wife doesn't like me admitting it. That's what I like for lunch, peanut butter and jelly. But I also want to thank the farmers who were selected by the National Turkey Federation to raise what's called the presidential flock. That's a group of 20 or so turkeys vying to make it here today. In other words, the turkey presidential primary. And so I just met Andrea and Brad Welp, third and fifth generation farmers from St. Anthony, Indiana. And they're here with their 5-year-old son, Benton, and their 2-year-old daughter, Brogan, who wonders, why do I have to be here, Mommy? Since July, they've been preparing the flock for this day. And I'm told the turkeys even listen to music to get used to the crowd noise. And they've interacted with children and visitors to get used to their visit to Washington. And eventually, Peanut Butter and Jelly were selected based on their temperament, appearance, and I suspect vaccination status. No, is it? Yes, instead of getting basted, these two turkeys are getting boosted. Yeah, sure. I love them talking to me like this. This week, they were welcomed on the red carpet at a fancy hotel here in Washington called the Willard Hotel next door. Secretary Buttigieg couldn't be here today, but I'm sorry for Pete and Chasten. Peanut Butter and Jelly are now the new Indiana power couple. And Andrea and Brad, thank you for pouring your love and pride into this work and this national tradition. And Benton and Brogan, I know you're going to miss your favorite turkeys, but the good news is you'll still be able to visit them. After receiving their presidential pardon, Peanut Butter and Jelly will be headed to Purdue University, West Lafayette, Indiana, where they'll be visiting something close to my heart, a train, the Boilermaker Special. That's where they're going to be. So, folks, turkey is infrastructure. Peanut Butter and Jelly are going to help build back the Butterball as we move along. And so I'm going to walk over, I'm going to pardon this year's turkeys, a National Thanksgiving turkey. And the first one, the one's going to be pardoned is Peanut Butter, who should be able to uphold his duties. And also hereby, in case that changes, I'm going to also pardon his alternative, Jelly. Folks, as I've said before, every American wants the same thing. They want to be able to look the turkey in the eye and tell them everything's going to be okay. And so, folks, it's going to be okay. In all seriousness, it's important to continue traditions like this, to remind us how from darkness there's light and hope and progress. And That's what this year's Thanksgiving, in my view, represents. So many of us will be gathering with our loved ones for the first time in a long time, and we'll be reconnecting with traditions with our tables and our hearts full of grace and gratitude for everyone who made it possible. Scientists, researchers, doctors, nurses, and other frontline workers who developed, administered the vaccines, and kept essential services going. Faith leaders and community leaders who counsel, comfort, and heal. Farmers, farm workers, meat packers who risked their lives during this pandemic to grow, process, and pick the food that's on our tables. And on Monday, my wife Jill and I will be traveling to Fort Bragg, North Carolina for an early Thanksgiving with the troops and their military families. We'll be able to show the nation's gratitude for their service and sacrifice and welcome those coming home after 20 years in Afghanistan. But folks, as we give thanks for what we also keep in our hearts, those who we have lost so much. Those who will have empty seats at their tables this year because the virus or another cruel twist of fate or accident. The grief they have, there's a lot of grief that's deep and tears at the hearts afresh on every holiday. We pray for them to find the strength in sorrow and purpose in pain. And as we reclaim our cherished tradition, let's commit ourselves to what the psalmist wrote. He said, "The Lord is my shield and my strength, and with my song I give him thanks." Let our song be ones of lives saved, breaches repaired, a nation made whole. And that's the America I know, a great nation, because we're good people. You, the American people, I forever am grateful for your trust you placed in me. And from the Biden family to yours, we wish you a happy Thanksgiving, and may God bless you all, and may God protect our troops, and may let's get to the business of the pardon. Thank you. That's a big turkey. It was the power vested in me as President of the United States. I pardon you. I pardon you this Thanksgiving. Go ahead, say something. There you go. Thanks for the pardon. But I also have to pardon Jelly, too. Jelly, you don't have to get up here. Well, I pardon you, kid. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And it's freezing, isn't it? All right. Thank you all.
Get up.
Thank you, Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
arriving here yet, but we know that they're going to be here soon. Hooper Heliport, that's where they launched from. That's basically downtown Los Angeles, just moments away. Making another turn right there. It looks like this is a little less residential, getting out of that super tight. But again, when we get on these roads out here, there's the LAPD airship, knew they'd be here quickly. So he's going to start making some of these calls for those officers. They might back off a little bit and maybe even go into tracking. Right now, though, this Civic's still running from officers, reported as a stolen vehicle because of those tinted windows. The only thing they can say, one driver driving that vehicle, don't know about any of those passengers. But these high speeds, that indecisive driving, the driving on the wrong side of the road, very dangerous for any of those civilians that are out here this afternoon. Ugh. Yes, and these are very tight roads out there. You saw that was a bridge. Oh, no, squeezing, yeah, squeezing up right against the big rig. And this is the stuff, you know, the ground units, the cruisers down there, they're not going to be able to do that. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't take those chances. But now they have the helicopter above, so they can give an idea where that vehicle is going. This is where it gets really dicey out here, even during the day with those traffic lights. I always get confused. We're very close to the Citadel out here. Looks like this vehicle continuing to move along at a good clip, passing everybody else. But it does seem like maybe slowing down. I'm looking at 60 miles an hour, not slowing down at all. But maybe there's a little less traffic out there right now. LAPD, the helicopter calling it out, trying to get their units back on the ground in that general area. Again, those stolen vehicle, some very dicey moments, some very tense moments as that vehicle is getting close to other vehicles. Right now, though, you can see, as Vinny stays with a little bit of a wider shot, there are no black and whites behind him. So now he's got that opportunity maybe to jump out, maybe to run. That center divider right there seems to be a little raised, and he made that decision kind of weaving around. He's going to try to blend into traffic, but I can tell you the LAPD helicopter, it's above it right now. They're in tracking mode. I'm watching as other black and white cruisers are getting in position to get back behind that vehicle. Definitely, could be pretty much what's going on right there. Trying to look out the window, get a grasp where they are. And I can tell you, the LAPD helicopter still out there doing those hard pirouettes, keeping an eye on that vehicle. They have about the same technology as Skyfox does, so they can be able to call out those streets to those officers pretty accurately. Now, if those officers are not right there behind them right now, that doesn't mean that they're, you know, not in the area or they're taking that long to get behind it. They might be paralleling right now. They're in the area, so they know that this vehicle, where it's going, the general direction, and they're basically just kind of setting it up so that if that vehicle stops, hopefully under its own power, the driver just decides, like, I'm going to try to get out and run. They'll be there in an instant. They can take that driver into custody. If something else happens, they'll be there just as quickly. Right now, though, you can see that indecisiveness. This is what we've been talking about. Yeah, this guy definitely not predictable, and that's really what's scary. And when he starts making these moves, his heart hits those brakes, changes his mind at the last second. That's when something could happen with another vehicle on the road. You're just driving along, doing what you think you should be doing or what you should be doing, and then this guy comes, stops, makes these turns, and then it's a problem. Actually, black and white going a cruiser going the other direction, two of them right there. So, and another one. So clearly they are in the area. They know what's going on. That helicopter calling it out. Stolen vehicle, though, that seems to be the crime right now. But of course, all this danger to the civilians out here and the people on the roadway, that just doesn't make it any better. Looks like we're going to be entering the freeway right now, and we'll see if those LAPD cruisers get behind it or they give it to CHP. Oh, no. He did get on the freeway. Just going underneath the railroad tracks. It's okay. I do the same thing too. Just stay wide. Just keep. You're in the right area. That's the one right there. There's getting back off the freeway. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Woo, there's another one. Back to surface streets we go. Marla, we kind of lost him there for a second. Sorry about that. If you heard us talking up here in Skyfox this afternoon, you can see this guy definitely not slowing down. Even with, look at all that traffic out there. That is just not good. And then blending, ooh. A lot of cars down there, and so anyhow, the LAPD, they are keeping up the best they can. They have rules to follow. They have to stay within those safety boundaries, as most drivers, all drivers should do. Another hard turn right there. We're going to get a little pirouette in Skyfox this afternoon, as Angie, our pilot, keeping that shot, and Vinny holding that camera. But you can see right now a lot of traffic, and that's just what just. When I'm watching it and I'm calling these things, I'm just so worried that this is going to end badly. Somebody's going to get hurt. There could be somebody making a crossing the street. This guy has run a couple of red lights already, seeming to get ahead of that pack right there. But again, Telegraph Road, where we are, we can see it. We're clearly paralleling the 5 freeway. The LAPD helicopter still above, keeping an eye on it. The ground units making their way, trying to intercept it. But again, though, look at these speeds. This guy's really starting to move out. It's not the speedometer reading wrongly. Watching him on the ground out the window really opened it up right there. There isn't that many. Now he's using that center divider. I was just going to say, not a lot of traffic till he gets up to that light, but now slowing down, thank goodness. But again, coming up to another very busy intersection out here and a solid red light. Look at this. Oh, yeah, the big rig. Yeah. Yep. There he is. Yep. And oh. Yeah, this is a very industrial area. Now he's just, it looks like just kind of trying to blend in. This would be a good spot, and not giving any help to any suspect ever, but this would be a good spot maybe just to get out and try to hide. Just leave that car, keep everybody else safe. But again, just kind of trying to blend in, hiding behind that truck right there, waiting for the light. This is the first time I've actually seen that vehicle stopped, where it's not trying to weave through or push its way through an area. You can see an LAPD cruiser back there, just a couple of cars behind that big rig, maybe making this guy a little anxious, probably seeing it as well. Haven't seen that. Oop, look at that. I thought he was going to do the sidewalk move, but it looks like he's just going to kind of push his way between that big rig, hoping that light turns green. But LAPD, they've got the advantage, they've got the time. This can go on for quite some time. The helicopter's going to stay there. The ground units are going to get that information. So hopefully this ends quickly without any kind of injuries. But it looks like he's on the move again. Looks like we're getting back onto a freeway. It's going to be the 5 once again. And what is he doing now? Why? Anyways, made an interesting move right there across that gore point and trying to blend into the traffic as best he can. Not riding that shoulder this time, Marla. Looks like he's trying to get over to that number 1 lane. Definitely, Marlene. I just call it like he is basically a driver of opportunity. He sees an opening, he'll take that opportunity every time. Back up there onto the carpool. I'm sorry, on the emergency lane, riding that right lane. Looks like Yeah, we're going to be getting off the freeway again. So it's on again, off again on that freeway. He basically, you know, he's taking surface streets, but it seems like as soon as he sees an on-ramp, gets back onto that on-ramp. The speed's kind of picking up as he's kind of blending his way onto Paramount Boulevard. Little less traffic out here, but you know what? A red light is a red light. These cars are going to be stopped there, and it does again. It seems just like Marla, you pointed it out. It's just every opportunity. He's got an opportunity to make a turn. He's going to take that turn. An opportunity to get on the freeway, going to take that as well. Looks like a bad decision out here. Angela's calling it out right now, says this is a dead end, but there's no officers nearby. So unless he knows this area, or he's going to be able to make that U-turn quick enough, he's going to be able to get out. But it definitely a dead end, and you can see that he's making that turn. Oh, it looks like he's parking, and he's not parking. And it looks like he's going to be making his way back out. The LAPD, the cruisers on the ground, they are a little bit farther away. So, and it almost looks like he's playing cat and mouse now, like he's waiting for these guys to show up, waiting for LAPD to show up. That's a sad state of affairs right there. But now it looks like, there we go, there's the LAPD. And, you know, this is one of those things, if he's, you know, if he's showboating, it's just going to add to the problems later on. Right now, wrong side of the road, almost a bad one right there on a major wrong side of the road. And again, the pursuit continuing out here. You can see it, Norwalk Downey area. Stolen vehicle, LAPD. They're trying to get this guy to stop back onto the southbound 5. And, you know, that's what I've said it before in the past, and I mean it with all my heart. You know, if my parents were down there, any of my loved ones just driving along, you look in your rearview mirror, yeah, you see this guy, but you're not expecting him to be going 100 miles an hour. Right now, we're basically, because of the traffic, he seems to really be slowing it down a little bit. And you make a lane change, you're doing it safely, and then this guy is just right there, and that's when these accidents happen. Right now, though, it looks like he's trying to blend in with the traffic down there. LAPD, if I'm looking out the window, definitely still down there. A number of them are still down there chasing this vehicle. Perhaps there is something a little bit more than stolen vehicle involved in this. A lot of times, if it is just what they would call a straight stolen, they'll let it go, especially when they do these type of high-speed, you know, maneuvers and moving back and forth. But in this case, they've got a number of cruisers down there. They're staying with this, and of course, and again, a little bit farther back, but still on the southbound 5 freeway. There you go, Vinny. You can see some of them in the shot. It gives you an idea how far back they are, and that vehicle just kind of blending in with traffic right now. But we've seen it in the past. He'll slow down. He'll speed up. He'll get off the freeway, get right back on again. Right now, though, still moving along Santa Fe Springs area and doing about the freeway speeds, but now picking it up a little bit again, and it looks like he's starting to move over. Perhaps he's going to get back off that freeway. Definitely. still the southbound 5, and he's still making his way farther and farther away from those officers. They are definitely still down there. They're just kind of backing off more and more, perhaps, to give the California Highway Patrol the opportunity to take it over again. And Marla, I got to give credit where credit's due. Our assignment desk, ears like cats. These guys, they heard this call. We didn't actually hear it. They were the ones that were like, hey, there's a pursuit. Why aren't you there? It's a little bit of sarcasm, but you know what? We love it. And then, anyway, so we got there pretty quick. It was on surface streets in the downtown area, but it got on the freeway very, very quickly. Right now, though, it looks like perhaps he doesn't actually see those officers on the freeway down there. We're told that the helicopter, the LAPD helicopter, is still tracking. So right now, though, we're making our way into the Orange County area sooner than later. I see, it says Norwalk, but the freeway wide open right now, and this stolen vehicle continues to make its way southbound on the 5 freeway. A number of LAPD cruisers behind it, but pretty far behind, and they're keeping an eye on this vehicle. If he gets off the freeway, we'll probably see that change again. Maybe those officers will get behind him. Marla, I can't tell you if this guy knows the Orange County area or he was familiar with Los Angeles. Today, I just don't know. So we're going to see where he goes. Right. It was a lot, the traffic was a lot busier. This is a lot of that new construction out here on the 5 freeway. You can see these wider lanes and a lot more of them. And at this time of day, a little less traffic. It's Friday light for sure. That vehicle finally making that move over to that right side. So we can see if they're going to actually be getting back off the freeway again. But we're also hearing the officers talking back and forth about what they're going to do and how they're going to handle this. Right now, though, you can see a couple of those black and whites basically trying to get back into position right there. Maybe they're going to be a little bit more aggressive, try to take that vehicle, maybe do a pit maneuver. 50 miles an hour, that's outside that safety zone, and especially with other vehicles on the roadway. But you can see right there, they got a couple of those black and whites, kind of got up on him, right there next to him, and then that vehicle basically weaving around a little bit and takes off. The LAPD, they have the opportunity. Those cars definitely have the power, but they're doing a tactic where they're just going to be following, and they are trying to get a hold of California Highway Patrol. They might be handing it off to them. It might be, it's actually probably a sergeant's decision, and then also the fact that they're getting farther and farther away from their areas that they patrol. So that's probably part of what's weighing in on that decision. The helicopter probably going to stay with it, but right now, though, this vehicle, you can see it's about freeway speeds. Everybody's going to say that's 80 miles an hour, Stu. If the freeway's wide open like that, I'll admit it. 80 is probably a good speed, but at any rate, this vehicle just kind of moving along. LAPD, they're down there, they're following, they're staying with it, but definitely not crowding that vehicle or crowding that suspect. So giving him that sense there maybe to calm down a little bit, have a little bit of less of that adrenaline rush, a little fear, might be getting out of his system. And perhaps he'll make some more wiser decisions. We're assuming it's a male, and maybe just kind of pull over, maybe stop, or do whatever he needs to do to get out of that vehicle and perhaps get the safety issue taken care of and getting the public, a little bit safer instead of racing around and making erratic turns. I think we have the IFP back. Did we end the show? Are we on oh, fuel situation. We probably got another 20, 40 minutes. Yeah, we're getting close to the TFR though. That's kind of the other issue. I don't know how we're going to handle it. If he switches freeways, it's going to help, but if he stays on the 5, it's going to get very complicated. And also because of the weather, we might not be able to get above it. Thank you. Oh no. No. The TFR is actually the Disney area. I don't know if we're on digital. Yes, I can. Okay, not a problem. No, definitely. Please do. We lost the IFP. Let's follow the 91 and we'll shoot it this way for a little bit. Copy all. Definitely. No crashes, no swapping of paint or anything at all, so that vehicle basically hasn't created any type of collisions. What we got to clarify real quick is that it did stay on the southbound 5 freeway. Our fuel situation, that's what we were talking about to the assignment desk, is pretty much okay for us right now. The issue is that TFR, the temporary flight restriction, that's going to be because of the Disneyland area, and we're forced to climb 3-mile ring from the center of the Disneyland area and 3,500 feet above. Because of the clouds today, we cannot do that because it gets cloudier as we get higher, and then we lose our ability to get reference points, so it's unsafe to fly. Right now, though, we're basically using the end of the lens, moving along slowly as this vehicle is continuing down the 5 freeway. At some point, we're going to try to maybe perhaps circumnavigate, get ahead of it somehow when the 5 pops out down south, and keep an ear on where it goes. But we probably will be losing that shot here as that vehicle keeps moving its way down southbound the 5 freeway. We're gonna stay outside that ring now because we have to. And I'm going to talk with Angie here in just a moment. But that's the suspect's vehicle right there. It's the one that's coming up. The darker one near all those other white vehicles, and then the LAPD cruisers are still down there on the road as well. But I need to talk to Angie. We got to try to formulate a plan to stay with this as long as we can. But it looks like it's going to be basically outside of the Skyfox lens. So we're going to see what we can do, maybe to intercept it as it makes its way out of the TFR on the other side. What? Northbound. Yeah, if he comes northbound. Yes, we have it. We have it, Pete. Thank you. But if he goes north, no, he's getting back on the freeway. Yeah, back onto the freeway. Yeah, staying south. Staying south. What is he doing? Is he trying to drive against traffic? Maybe it was. We're working on it. We're working on it. Somehow it looks like he's trying to drive the wrong way on the freeway. That's what it looks like. It looks like, yep, he's trying to drive the wrong way on the freeway. Now he's heading northbound on the southbound lanes on the shoulder. It looks like he's going to be heading back northbound. Now, this is one of those situations where LAPD will not follow. This is like straight out not follow. In this case, that 5 freeway, there's a lot of construction, so this vehicle, I think, has a good portion of a safety. staying away from all that other traffic, but you've just got to imagine what it's going to be like to be doing freeway speeds and then have a vehicle heading towards you on the freeway. This is basically almost, I mean, you just got to think about those other people that are driving, and you see other folks basically getting out of the way, but you also got to think to yourself, these vehicles now moving at about 100 miles an hour at each other, if not faster. Anybody that's not paying attention out there on the in the carpool lane, whoa, see he's swerving a little bit there. Some of these folks, they just don't know. This is one of those ones where we don't want to see anybody lose their lives, especially not anybody. It doesn't make a difference, suspect or somebody just driving today. But you can see by our mapping also, 55 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, northbound in the southbound lanes out here. The helicopter keeping an eye on it. California Highway Patrol made aware of it. And again, though, this driver taking some extreme risks this afternoon just to stay away from LAPD, stolen vehicle. I mean, what is it worth? It's not worth your life. It's not worth injuring somebody else or taking somebody else's life. That's for sure. Some tense moments, though, as he's making our way actually closer to us in that carpool lane this afternoon. And keep going to the right. Keep going to the right. Oh, there he is. Yeah, he almost came to a stop. Maybe somebody got really, really close to him, or perhaps he's going to try to make another one of those U-turns that we saw him doing before, or trying to get off that freeway. But again, though, very dangerous this afternoon and extremely high tension as this driver driving the wrong way this afternoon, northbound in the southbound lanes of the 5 freeway in the Orange County area. Oh! Okay, cool. Oh, Jesus. More cars coming carpool lane. More cars coming in the carpool lane. Here comes a really fast one. Yeah, Marla, I'm looking out the window just at the traffic moving along that carpool lane. And this is, I got to say, the only plus, if there is any kind of plus in this, is it's one of those carpool lanes that has an emergency lane by the center divider. It's not that carpool lane right up the center divider. But you've got a lot of vehicles now as he's making some sort of, there's a transition here, and cars are not swerving. They can see it coming. Thank goodness everybody's being vigilant out there this afternoon, and he's making his way. It's basically getting to one of those transitions where it's just the carpool lane transition. So he's going to be, maybe not. Maybe he's staying on the 5. We'll see what he does here under the bridge. Okay, so he didn't take that. He's staying on the 5, and he continues to have a little bit of an emergency lane right there. Less traffic, but a lot of concrete going to be blocking this vehicle here just for a moment or two. Again, northbound 5. He's going about freeway speeds in the wrong direction on the freeway. Whoa, oh, I think somebody just got into a little rear end accident down there. Now, I'm going to look, Vinny, I'm going to keep an eye on it. He's continuing on northbound. He's going to pop out of the bridge. I can't see it. To the right, go to the right. Go northbound on the freeway. Right there, center of the screen. Somebody just got into it looks like a minor accident down there when they slammed on the brakes to avoid this guy, and there was a little bit of a rear end. I don't think it was anything too dramatic. Maybe they just bumped. But right now, though, you can see that vehicle, and this is what we're talking about. At least you can see it now. There's a little bit of an emergency lane right there. This driver is choosing to take those chances. Look how close he's getting to a lot of these vehicles. This is just something terrifying. I'm not even sure I want to really watch as this continues on, but it definitely looks like he's slowing down once again. If he tries to pull one of those maneuvers here with a U-turn, these cars are going freeway speeds. I don't think he's going to be able to get off the freeway anywhere out here, so this is going to become very complicated and extremely dangerous this afternoon. I don't know. Could be. Good. He's going to try to turn around. I've never seen a vehicle drive that long on the freeway in the wrong direction, and right now it seems like he's coming to a stop. There's some discussion in the helicopter. Perhaps he has a problem with one of his tires. He has been driving a little bit slower. There's a California Highway Patrol vehicle down there that basically just missed this guy, meaning not as in physically hitting him, but was looking for it, just missed him. He's basically getting off the freeway to get back on. You can see he's in one of those spots where there's construction right now. He actually could, I'm looking at it, unless I'm seeing some problems down there, he actually could blend back in and make his way onto the northbound lanes doing what he's doing. So they're stopping traffic right there. You can see that's going to be probably an LAPD officer. And again, that vehicle just not moving right now. Vinny, just take a look at the car. This will be our opportunity to see if he has a flat. And it looks like those tires are okay, but that vehicle stopped right now, again, facing the wrong way, but there is an area where he can do construction. There's an area here with construction where he could basically blend back onto the northbound lanes. If he's trying to make a U-turn, I wouldn't have thought he would make a U-turn to go against traffic. But right now, though, making some unusual decisions out there, keeping an eye on what's going on. And again, some cars stopping right now, basically just to, basically say, hey, buddy, you're going the wrong way. But clearly not knowing what's going on out here. But again, that vehicle just stopped right now. Officers from LAPD are in that gore point. If Vinny goes just a little bit wider and tilt up, there they are. So they are here. And again, with that kind of driving and what we've been seeing, if they have the opportunity, I would almost guess they would try to block this guy in or possibly do a pit maneuver just to stop this the craziness. That's the only way I can put it. Marla, that's the thing. It's like if they move in too quickly, this guy might try to dart, get into the traffic, and then create an accident. Don't know why he stopped. Maybe he's just thinking about what's going on. It's a stolen vehicle. I mean, that's what we're hearing. It's just a straight stolen vehicle unless our assignment desk knows other information. And is it worth it? I mean, is this really all worth it? That driver possibly has some other warrants. They're not going to shoot this suspect at all with all these vehicles driving by that area. Yep, the CHP coming around. They'll probably make their way a little bit more south and then a little bit more north and then turn back around in that same area where that car could have joined the northbound freeway. Right now, though, it looks like I know for a fact the northbound lanes are stopped for the police activity. Southbound lanes continuing to flow. They might be up. Here we go. At least the vehicle's moving. And again, putting himself in his kind of okay, so it looks like he's just going to back up and then rejoin the southbound 5 freeway. This would have been an opportunity for, and again, just armchair, don't want to say it like that, but the officers could have done something, maybe tried to block him in or done something to stop this vehicle because he clearly is stopped right here. But again, we're in a helicopter watching, we see that big picture. Those officers, they've got something else going on. But again, Marla, a lot of armed officers right now pointing their weapons at that vehicle. That wall is going to create a barrier so that car not a threat to them. But again, as long as there's traffic moving, as long as there's traffic moving behind them, they're not going to open fire. They won't do that. They would, with the chance of a bullet astray hitting one of those other vehicles. Right now, it looks like he's just biding his time, Marla. Nope. No, we've been looking at all 4 of those tires. All the tires seem solid, and Northbound 5, about a mile worth of backup right now, completely stopped as it stands. Southbound 5, I'm looking out the window. There is a California Highway Patrol blocking traffic, so there'll be less traffic here in just a moment, giving those officers an opportunity to maybe come around or get around that vehicle or block it in. But those tires still moving right there. You know, the steering wheel, don't know, maybe he's got some mechanical issues, maybe he ran out of gas. I don't have my crystal ball this afternoon, but I can tell you this is a very tense moment as that vehicle basically in some sort of standoff with officers. But in that same sentence, there's a concrete wall that separates those officers and that vehicle. Oh. And Marla, we're just getting some more updates from the PD helicopter down below. That's what I was kind of trying to figure out, why they were so aggressive with this one vehicle. They were calling it straight stolen. Now they're saying that this is a carjacking suspect. Now, they're not saying, I haven't heard the words armed carjacking suspect, but a carjacking, even by force, it changes it up a little bit, makes this driver a little bit more dangerous. So that might be one of the reasons why they didn't give this thing up earlier. Right now, though, you can see that vehicle stopped. The southbound lanes completely stopped, northbound lanes completely stopped. Car moving slowly. But again, we saw him earlier on. It appeared that he was waiting for those officers to re-engage the pursuit. So maybe there's, maybe it's more of a game of cat and mouse with that driver. Right now, though, LAPD, they've got their weapons out. There's that wall right there. And there's very little, unless that driver is armed and has a weapon, there's very little that that car could do to threaten those officers. But all the lanes now, northbound and southbound, are completely stopped, as it seems to be a little bit of a standoff, that vehicle moving a little bit, then stopping. I wonder if they might be out of gas. Okay. Now he's backing up. That's right, Marlon. You see that vehicle backing up now. It really, again, who knows? We're just watching right now, moving very, very slowly, reversing, and it was one of those, don't really know what, I'm sure this guy doesn't even have a plan. You've got a wide open freeway here southbound, and it looks like he's going to be, here we go, continuing on very slowly. But again, though, this is one of those things where it almost seems like he's doing this cat and mouse thing. He's like waiting for those officers to get back into their vehicles and basically chase this guy. I mean, you can just get a little wider just to see what those officers are doing. Yep, they're getting back into their vehicles, and let's see when they make that turn and they get behind him, let's see what the suspect does. And if he does take off, that means that really, truly, he's just waiting for these guys to chase him. Right now, though, yeah, this is a really good time where they could do a pit maneuver, maybe try to box him in. But again, though, we don't have all that information. We did get that update, carjacking. I'd like to find out if it's a armed carjacking. But and if it is, that might be one of the reasons why these officers are so standoffish. They're not doing that pit maneuver, because if that suspect is reported to be armed, well, then he's got a gun, and that changes up everything. They spin him around or they pit him in there. It's going to be a situation where that suspect has a weapon, could point it at the officers, and they don't want to do that. So right now, we're finding out if we can get any more information about what type of carjacking this was. Okay. Right. Yes, definitely. And we're hearing a little bit more information. We have to get it confirmed, of course, but we're passing along what we're hearing. Weapon, that's the best they can do right now. Weapon, unclear if it was a knife or a gun, but definitely a weapon. Also, that suspect making gestures towards the officers. And again, those gestures are possibly suicidal. You can see him waving a hand out there. I can't see if he's got something in his hand, but definitely there's some issues going. Well, clearly, if you're going to carjack a vehicle, chances are you have some issues. Here we go. And whoa, just almost. But at these speeds, they're going to keep trying. And with what's been going on, I believe that they're really going to make an aggressive attempt to bring this to an end. Even if the speeds get a little bit higher, clearly there are no other vehicles here on the freeway, so that's going to make it a little easier for the LAPD, but a valiant attempt right there. Now it looks like this is, we're going to be getting off an off-ramp, which is sad, because that's going to put us back in with the, mixed in with the public, but we've seen him slow down before as he makes that turn, possibly another pit maneuver coming up here very shortly. Beach Boulevard. Oh, come on. Yep. Yeah. Here comes another pit there. Whoa, that was a hard one right there. And that vehicle's still moving. Officers, these are going to be some sheriff's department down there and LAPD all working together. They're going to kind of going into custody. Now just backing up. Again, I never want to, definitely on Beach Boulevard and right by the, now that he's got that opportunity to turn it around and keep it going. But again, here we go again, and now we're in with traffic once again, and we're in the Orange County, the Buena Park area, but definitely in Orange County, moving slowly as officers get back in their vehicles, and then hopefully they'll try to do another one of these pit maneuvers here once again. Just bring this thing to an end to get that guy into custody before somebody really gets hurt. I'm sorry. That's going to be LAPD down there. The first vehicles in line. I'm sorry, I was listening to the broadcast, trying to find out any more information we could about it. You know, the pursuit continues on out here. That vehicle moving very, very slowly. A lot of traffic down there. That actually might be a plus. We've seen that in the past, where basically he'll just get blocked in by traffic. Right now, though, it looks like the light just turned green, so he's going to be making that late. Oh no, he's keeping on straight. LAPD clearly authorized to do a pit maneuver. Perhaps they'll try to do it again. That not blocking them in, you know what? I'm the guy in the helicopter. I'm definitely not a law enforcement officer. They probably had their reasons and why they did not do that. But right now, very slow speeds, and it kind of makes you wonder, too, why we're going so slow. If it has something to do with that vehicle, or perhaps, it might just be that driver. But if it is that vehicle, why are they driving slower? Is it something mechanical that might help bring this to an end? But again, though, it's just a very lethargic chase right now as we're in the Buena Park area. Looks like we're getting back into a very residential neighborhood, just making blocks. It seems like we said it in the past. He just, whatever opportunity he has available, like if there would have been something blocking him, he probably would have made a turn. But LAPD back to keeping a little bit of distance. There's many opportunities where they could have tried to pit him once again, but right now this little Honda Civic, as described as a 2014, still moving along very, very slowly out here. And these officers, I can imagine their frustration right now. They probably, as much as many of the viewers, just want to bring this to an end. Yep. That's right, but you know they have to coordinate all that type of information, and perhaps they are working with the Buena Park law enforcement, or they might be able to get one of their own vehicles out ahead of it. But right now, though, these slow speeds and then the ability for this driver just to change lanes constantly, he's not making blocks, to get a vehicle in front to deploy those spike strips, that would be very difficult. Right now, though, looks like a green light for the suspect, which works out for everybody down there. But again, very slow speeds. And Marla, you're right. These are the types of speeds where that officer could make his way up there safely and do that pit maneuver. Maybe it's going to happen right now. And yeah, but it seems like when he gets a little closer, now you see the cat's out of the bag. That's probably my third cat reference today. But the cat's out of the bag right there, and you know you can't just kind of sneak up on him. That suspect probably knowing when that LAPD cruiser gets closer, they're going to try to pit him. So he's going to speed up every time. Now, again, we've heard in the past that there's a window or an envelope of speeds where they can do it safely. In some cases, that envelope might stretch a little bit, especially when it's a suspect like this and they just want to bring this to a stop. We're still making our way here on the on Beach Boulevard South. It says South Beach Boulevard, but we're clearly going a northbound direction. That vehicle driving so slowly is actually adding to the safety factor of what's going on here until he makes a left turn right there illegally in front of everybody else. But what was going on right there was because of the fact that he was driving so slowly, the traffic was moving farther ahead of him. Now we're making our way southbound on Beach once again. Speed's picking up just a little bit. LAPD, they're right there behind him. They, you know, time definitely on their side as long as this vehicle continues to drive at regular speeds and there isn't that much danger to the public. But when he starts driving a little bit quicker, starts running those red lights, clearly the longer he's doing it, the more dangerous it becomes and the odds become higher that somebody might get hurt. Right now, though, these officers very disciplined in the fact that they are basically just staying right behind him right there, not taking every attempt to pit that vehicle or bring it to an end aggressively as this suspect continues to lead officers in this chase out here in the as we're leaving the Whittier area and getting back into the Buena Park, Garden Grove, I'm sorry, Fullerton area. You know, this vehicle just continues to elude these officers. Right now, though, not a lot of traffic on their southbound lanes on the beach. There are some major intersections. And again, folks, they probably are not even really sure what's going on. I know that those officers have lights and sirens. That'll help alert the public. There you go. You have a solid red light down there, and the cross traffic just got a green. So we'll see what goes on as that vehicle pretty much, it never has to stop, but this time has stopped right there. And again, just, you know, there he goes. Basically just kind of waited for a moment or two and basically ran that red light. A number of officers behind him, and we're continuing now southbound on Beach Boulevard, making our way back over towards the 5 freeway. Hopefully he doesn't get back on that freeway. That's something I don't think I could watch again. As you were saying, Marla, driving the wrong way, that was nail-biting, to say the least. Okay. Yep. So we don't know if that vehicle right there is going to, see, that's the thing, too. That suspect saw what was going on. Well, there you go. It didn't take that opportunity, but saw what was going on. We've talked about the spike strips. We've talked about, you know, the pit maneuver. That vehicle, that LAPD vehicle, moving way ahead of him. But this is a really large street, Marla. Take a look at this. I mean, how many lanes are down there? I'm being serious. I can't really tell because of the glare on the monitor. And again, there he goes. Made another U-turn. So there you go. This guy clearly aware of what's going on around him, clearly aware that these officers might be trying to put those spike strips out, and that's probably what we just saw right there. That vehicle, yeah, making this turn now, going back that same direction. Speeds, they're about what you'd be driving on this road at any rate, but there's so many folks out here right now, and, you know, are they going to be able to shut down the road, get the civilians off the road? It would be it would be a real task for them to do something like that. But right now, this car continues just making his way out here. We've seen a couple of those U-turns. Maybe he'll do it again. But officers from LAPD, they're tasked with that difficulty. It's like, how do they stop this vehicle safely and bring this thing to an end? No, we've seen them in the past where they'll lose a rear bumper or something like that. In this case, it seems like it might be probably just some body work on those quarter panels, making that turn right there. So, and you can see some of that damage. It definitely has some damage right there, but not enough to create any kind of issue. Hopefully, I was kind of hoping that maybe when they hit him, it would damage the tire. Maybe he would be losing a wheel. That would probably bring it to an end as well. Right now, though, you can see you made our way onto, I believe this is Rosecrans. Here we go. Here we go. It looks like there's another opportunity, but the speeds, that suspect, he saw it coming, and now the speeds have increased once again. So definitely this guy's learning what's going on around him. At least he's aware that these officers are really trying to bring this to an end. But right now, they're just following lights and sirens as we make our way back toward, in the Buena Park area. But it looks like we are heading roughly eastbound, but we could be heading back into the Whittier area. There's the LAPD airship, if you guys were wondering. Those folks in that airship been very calm, calling this pursuit out this afternoon and keeping track of it and keeping track of their officers as well, getting them in position and giving them ideas to how they can bring this to an end. First on scene. Oh, what are you doing? Yeah, another U-turn right there, making his way back through that same intersection. Again, though, those officers from LAPD probably a little frustrated. They are humans just like you and I, and you can see that one making his way right now. But again, every time they get close enough, that suspect really just opens it up and creates that gap, and also gets those speeds up to where it becomes unsafe for that pit maneuver. Going right underneath Sky Fox right there. Vinny doing an amazing job keeping it on the camera. Angie just basically holding us right here as that vehicle drives underneath us. The LAPD airship much lower, and they're able to stay with it, and they've basically just been tracking it the entire time. Now the speed's picking up again, so it shows you that that vehicle just fine. All that suspicion about possibly a mechanical issue, probably not. Just that driver, just being, just keeping the officers that far away from him that they can't take him into custody. Hopefully, in the end, it's just going to be one of those, he pulls over, or the vehicle runs out of gas, or whatever it may be, and nobody is hurt, but eventually that suspect going into custody. Well, he is armed, but what he is armed with, that is the question. The LAPD airship basically gave us that information earlier on, saying that it is an armed carjacking, but we don't know if it was a knife that that person used or if it was a gun. But definitely a weapon involved, and that might be one of the reasons why in the beginning they were a little bit less aggressive on those pit maneuvers. They clearly, whatever it was, they have the information down there on the ground that whatever that weapon was, they feel safe enough where they'll be able to pit it and have that suspect facing them. Right now, though, another hard turn, putting himself into traffic. So it just gets more and more confusing on what this guy is doing. Kind of stopped right there behind the tree. Don't know if he's blocked in or what's going on. It was blocked in. And again, making his way on an emergency lane right there, making his way, basically just making big U-turns. Changed his mind this time, didn't take the street he took last time, but staying on Beach. So he just went through Rosecrans. Right now, though, we just keep an eye on it. And LAPD, they're pretty much doing the same thing. Left auto. No, a grand theft would be just like the vehicle was stolen. That was the original call. That was the original call. That was what started all this, was a grand theft auto, meaning a straight stolen. That means, if somebody came out and their car was gone. They bumped that up in as far as the type that, you have somebody else trying to do a pit maneuver right there. Folks on the ground, we never want to see any. Yeah, we never want to see anything like this. We've seen some interesting things like this in the past, but LAPD, they don't want to see any of this stuff. They don't want any kind of help, and it's not because of pride or anything weird like that. They don't want it because they don't want to see anybody get hurt. Unless that driver is a law enforcement officer, the chances are that he is not trained, or she is not trained on how to bring this to an end safely. But again, that vehicle right there really just kind of keeping up with that suspect, and now maybe just figured I gave it my best shot, I'm out of here. LAPD, there we go, another U-turn, and that guy wanted to get away from that civilian. more than he seems just as badly as he wants to get away from these officers. Another U-turn right there. A lot of these folks getting out of the way, so you know there's lights and sirens on down there. But again, what we were talking about, the GTA, that Grand Theft Auto, that was the original call on this. They bumped that up in severity. Yeah, and right. Thank you. Right. A lot of traffic coming up. A lot of traffic. I'm sorry about that, Marla. It wasn't. That really wasn't for you or for the viewers. Yeah, I was just kind of giving everybody a heads up. There's a lot of traffic now on Beach Boulevard, probably because of all this activity. I'm even looking. It looks like he's going to be able to make his move there in that lane that you see, but that becomes blocked as well. So it is going to become really, really tight right there. And when that light goes green, which probably isn't going to happen for a moment or two, he might be able to get on the go again. But officers, they're going to be very cautious about getting out of their vehicles and approaching that car, especially with civilians around. They don't want to see anybody get hurt. There we go. I was saying how that lane was blocked. Looks like he's basically getting spike strip. There you go, right in front of him. And how are you going to get around that? Oh, that's not going to be good. There you go, and he did. So that's how he's going to get around that. We all saw it. But it was a good attempt there by these officers to try to bring this to an end. But again, though, you can see they are using tactics that are less aggressive, trying to bring this to an end. But this suspect just continues to drive. Officers continue to chase him. And Skyfox continues to watch, but we might be getting to the point where we're going to have to go get fuel here shortly. Yep. Wait, it's going that way. Well, most of the time it is just a matter of time, and especially with what's been going on and the fact that he put so many people in danger there on the 5 freeway this afternoon. LAPD is going to stay with this for quite some time. You know, I'm sure Orange County, in this area, whatever the law enforcement bureau that handles this particular part of Garden Grove or the Buena Park area, they've got to know this is going on in their neighborhood. The fact that they're not joining in is probably more of a coordination issue than anything else. You can see that vehicle now. It looks like we are moving off of the bigger streets back onto Alondra. And again, a long straightaway. There's nothing, I'm telling you, there are no cars after that one. There are no cars on the roadway for quite some distance. So this would be the spot where they would have a good opportunity to do another pit maneuver. But again, if the speeds get too high, with all those eyes on that officer, all those judging eyes on that officer, they might not do it, or they might. But you can see right there, yeah, but at 60 miles an hour, that's going to be a tough one. But there are no other cars, and they are making their way up to another major up there where there are cars. But there was that long section right there with no vehicles around. And again, you know, that officer, they don't want to injure themselves. They don't want to injure their partner. And again, I've said it in the past, and it is the honest truth. They don't want to hurt, even injure that suspect. They just want to bring this to an end safely and get that suspect into custody. Right now, though, we're continuing to move along out here. And again, we got it to another spot. There's plenty of cars out there, so it's going to be a more dangerous spot if they try to do a pit maneuver out here right now. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Marlon, I mean, we've been watching this for quite some time, and you just got to kind of wonder, you know, those Explorers, they are weighed down. There's a lot of weight inside those vehicles, but they are just V6s. And then you've got that little Honda Civic. You know, it is a four-door. You know, I don't know what it has done to it, but those are little four-cylinders. It's amazing that they can be able to just kind of scoot out of the way of the officers. We've been watching this constantly, and again, it just shows you, like, when they're requisitioning vehicles, you know, they don't look for those, you know, faster, powerful. You know, LAPD, they want reliable, and they want, and that's it, basically, just a very reliable vehicle that's safe. And that might be one of the reasons why we can see that little Honda Civic just kind of scoot its way away from these heavy cruisers. Right here's a big intersection. Somebody didn't hear the sirens, but that big rig did. That suspect slowing down again. We're making our way into Santa Fe Springs, so we're getting out of that Orange County area, making our way back into LA County. But, you know, something else, Marla, that we're looking at right there is, you know, we don't see any more LAPD officers showing up. We don't see anything like that, and it seems like, you know, LAPD is like, okay, this is your assignment, stop that vehicle, we're going to give you 2, 4, 6 black and whites, you know, make it happen. And that's all they have down there. And right now, it's basically just to follow this vehicle. Hopefully he does something that might disable that car, maybe hit a curve, lose a tire, something like that. Hopefully nobody gets hurt, but it continues on. LAPD doing what they can just to bring this to an end. We're still going to Fullerton, right? Up. Okay. A lot of traffic coming up. He's going to get jammed up. Up, light just went green. Here we go again. Yep, here it comes again. Nope. 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 Yeah. Yeah, and it's just created a turn right there, making a northbound turn there on Bloomfield. You know, we're, like you said, we're in the Norwalk area. This clearly the Sheriff's Department's area. Here we go again, getting up really close, and it didn't happen once again. Put him on the wrong side of the road, though. Every time he does that, it just makes it more and more dangerous. I'm just putting it out there. We're going to stay here. We've been doing the math back and forth, back to Fullerton for fuel. We're going to stay as long as we can, but it is getting pretty close to that moment where we're going to have to say we have to go. And believe you me, I am more than wanting to stay. I always want to see these things come to an end. I want to see the conclusion. But right now, you know, safety for the helicopter and the crew is paramount as well. Right now, though, there you go. Officer throwing out a spike strip. Oh, I don't know if he got it. It was close. It did. Vinny's saying it did hit the back tire. Unclear if it actually took out that tire, but it bounced off of it for sure. What a valiant effort. that guy's definitely getting a gold star when he gets back to the station this afternoon. Right now, though, that vehicle kind of running on its own with none of these officers right behind it because of that spike strip deployment and the fact that he made that little crazy U-turn. But right now, making his way back onto Alondra. Yeah, back onto Alondra. That's where he was on earlier on. Now, we've seen it in the past. Those spike strips don't blow that tire out. The air is going to come out very, very slowly if it was effective. So we'll keep an eye on it. That might actually slow that car down even more, and that might make the pit maneuver with the vehicle more pliable. That might happen. Right now, though, I can tell you Angie's doing math. She's got the abacus out and flipping beads and trying to figure out how long it's going to be to get back to the airport. She wants to keep us here as long as possible. But again, safety is definitely on our list as well. But they're making another hard U-turn right there, but it doesn't look like that rear tire is going to be going flat. Yeah, so at any rate, but what a valiant effort. That officer just out there saw the opportunity, seized it, and threw that spike strip best he could. Hit the vehicle, but maybe it was the spike strips were laying on their sides. At any rate, that car continues to go. LAPD continues to chase it. Norwalk area, and it's, like we said, it's more than just a theft. This person took that vehicle by force from the owner. That makes that suspect a little bit more dangerous, but a type of robbery. And but you can see that LAPD gaining on him once again. Looks like another wrong side of the road deal. Every time he does that, makes it much more dangerous for the public, makes it a little bit more tense for us up here. But Vinny's kind of calming my nerves, as it would be, showing me that, look, there isn't that much ahead of him right there, and everybody's kind of getting over to the side of the road. There is a semi, so there is that. And you can see that LAPD helicopter calling it out down there. The LAPD cruisers, they're going to stay on the right side of the road. And hopefully this vehicle doesn't collide with anything as he runs another red light and continues to stay on the wrong side of the road out here. Watch. So, ooh. Yeah. Yeah. That's a plus. And yeah, a couple of near misses. That when I said that's a plus right there is we're actually making our way back towards the airport where we're going to have to get fuel. So it's going to let us stay here just a little bit longer. But you can see right there, this car, look how tight it is. And then somebody making a turn. Somebody else making a U-turn. There you go. Oh, you saw him. I don't know if that was on purpose or he was just trying to get out of his way, but it did look like he tried to back up to block that guy in. So, the public kind of done with this, as well as probably a lot of these viewers. I know LAPD, these guys really, they are trained professionals, but they just want to bring this thing to an end. They want to get this guy into custody. Right now, though, that suspect just has been taking so many chances. Hopefully, those chances are going to, stay on his side with luck and nobody gets hurt. All right. He's going to pit him. Maybe we can get... Yeah. That's right, Marlon. You know what? Our fuel light is on, and not like the guys and the gals and ourselves on the ground when we're driving and we got that fuel light and we're just like, yeah, we'll make it. we sadly have to make our way back over to Fullerton, and we are going to make that attempt right now. We'll keep the shot as long as we can. Those numbers right now, 103, 105, those are wrong because of the distance that that it is looking, but you can see that the pursuit continues on. We'll get fuel as quickly as possible, Marla. Hopefully it'll be over. I can't believe I said that, but hopefully it'll be over. But if it's not, we definitely will be back up and over it as soon as we get fuel. But right now, Skyfox making their way over to Fullerton for fuel. Marla, sorry about that.